Hello there, dear parents. It's Dr. Hefsi Tago coming to you from the Town Square Learning Centre in Basildon, Essex, where we love teaching and we teach our children to enjoy learning. In my previous recording, I talked about the importance of goal setting with your children, especially at the start of term, so that you've got a framework that you're working with as you're going through the term together with your child. What I want to do in this recording is look at specifically practical ways you can go about setting and establishing and working those goals. So let's get started. Firstly, SMART is a very popular acronym that most people may have heard of in terms of when it comes to goal setting. So it has to be specific, it has to be measurable, it has to be achievable, it has to be realistic, and it has to be time bound. Of course, if you're working with a child who is about 10 years old, you're not going to be throwing out these SMART acronyms and expecting them to decipher what it's supposed to mean. So practically, when it comes to setting goals for children, first of all, yes, it must be specific, but it should be something that is really not a huge goal that will seem almost impossible to achieve, especially when you're now starting a goal setting with your children. And that's because you want to go through the process so that boxes are ticked and the goal is achieved. This way, the child is encouraged to continue working on setting those goals. So first thing is defining the goal. So we all know how it is to getting children up in the morning for school. So it can be something as simple and specific as I am going to aim for the first half of this term to be up by 6 o'clock every morning. And so that's a very specific goal that the child is setting. And then we need to understand the reason why it's important that the child is setting that goal. And so it's important that I'm getting up at 6 o'clock every morning because it allows me plenty of time in the morning to get ready, make sure that I'm not leaving anything behind, and I'm not rushing to get out of the door and get into school all flustered. Okay. Now, secondly, so the goal is not very specific. It is quite realistic because how then are you going to ensure that you are up by 6 o'clock every morning? Early to bed, early to rise. So you need to then ensure that you're going to bed on time every evening. So you're well rested, ready to wake up early enough in the morning. Okay. Now, thirdly, it needs to be achievable. So the goal is specific. It's not realistic. Can it be achievable? Yes. How are you going to ensure that you're getting up early enough every morning? Set your alarm, or you can rely on the clock of mom and dad to wake you up in the morning. But to be more achievable, it's best to have an alarm clock set, go to bed early so that you know it's not going to be struggle getting up early in the morning. Finally, it needs to be time bound. So rather than saying, I'm going to set a goal to be up by 6 o'clock every single day of this term, take it in small chunks. How about we do the first half of the term? Or at the start of term, you do the first month at the start of the term. So my specific goal is that I'm going to be getting up at 6 o'clock every morning. Why? Because I don't want to be rushing out of the house, so I have plenty of time to get to school. Is it achievable? Yes. How am I going to achieve that? I'm going to go to bed early, and then I'm going to set an alarm clock to help me wake up on time. And finally, I'm going to trial it for the first month or the first half of term. And so this way, when you get to the end of the term or the end of the month and you've achieved that goal, give yourself a pat on the back. Gives encouragement to then carry on going. And so that's it for practical steps with an example of goal setting with your children. There is a free resource on our website on goal setting for success. It's more tailored to secondary school, but of course it can be adapted for any age group. See you in the next recording.